Okay, time to round up today's top stories in the world of science and tech with CTV science and technology expert Dan Riskin. Dan, it's great that we turn to you, the expert on these issues. Let's start here focusing on your own happiness a little too closely. Turns out that can backfire.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad to want to be happy. It's not bad to set up your life so you will be happy. But if you're the type of person that's journaling every day about how happy you are, or comparing how happy you are now to how happy you were a week ago, or how happy you expect to be in the future, you're going to get yourself in a bit of trouble. And this is a counterintuitive result, because you would think that focusing on that would help you get better at it. But researchers went through 1,800 different people, asked them a whole bunch of questions, had some people keep journals, had some people where they tracked them over 6 months, a whole bunch of really, really elegant pieces to this study to really tease apart the difference between wanting to be happy, which is great, and hyper-analyzing yourself, which works against you. And they found that those people that are just paying the most attention to how they're doing right now ended up being less happy than people that were just a little bit more chill about it.
It almost seems like it's putting some stress on the happiness.
Exactly. Yeah. So am I happy enough today? Oh no, I'm having a non-happy day. Oh, I'm so disappointed. Or I'm not as happy as I thought I would be when I had this achievement. How come I'm not so happy? Those kinds of thoughts can really work against you.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a really interesting study. Okay, this will make people happy though, Dan. Flying keeps getting safer.
Yeah, this is a great result. I mean, obviously, you know, when we see plane crashes in the news from time to time, like we did last week, it sets everybody on edge and you start feeling nervous. But honestly, the odds are amazing. And what's incredible is that it gets safer and safer. So right now, the odds, if you get on a plane anywhere in the world, like even in remote Bhutan, if you get on a plane, the odds of dying are 1 in about 13.7 million. That is twice as good as a decade ago, which is twice as good as a decade before that, which is twice as good as a decade before that. And it goes all the way back to the 1960s. It's a great trend. And what's crazy is this trend doesn't show any leveling off. Flying is not reaching some kind of asymptote where it can't get safer. It just keeps getting safer about 7% every year. So we're moving in the right direction as a planet in some ways, and this is one of them.
Yeah, as long as they put all the bolts on the doors, we should be good, Dan.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, in the meantime, you know, a big trend, of course, in the pandemic was people working from home. Home offices become popular, and a lot of people still working at them, but a lot of people are wondering, how can you improve and optimize your productivity in those home offices?
Nick, this one's going to blow your mind. This is this thing about the home office people don't really think about, but it turns out that this change is enormous. If you think about the ventilation in your office and how much fresh air, just ventilation. So going from zero ventilation to ventilation 100% of the time improves your productivity as much as not having kids at home. Just, yeah, like that is not a small amount, right? So just the amount of air you're getting. And for a lot of people, it's all about getting the right monitors and the right lights and all that stuff. And that does help for sure. But you don't think about oxygen. And we are, after all, biological creatures. And when the carbon dioxide starts to build up, your brain just doesn't work as well. And when we're not thinking about that invisible piece, we're sort of kicking ourselves. So put a fan at your desk, or make sure you've got the air running in your house, or open that window, whatever it takes, and you'll be more productive at your office.
So even a fan just blowing air that's already circulating is better than, you know, you don't even necessarily have to open a window, is what you're saying.
You just have to get fresh oxygen to your face. And so, you know, if you're sitting in a small room and you're, you know, maybe you've got a den in the basement or something like that, and you just don't have airflow, you're working against yourself. You're building up that carbon dioxide and your brain just can't work as well. Okay.
Hey, those are some great tips. Really interesting stuff there. That is Dan Riskin, who joins us every Monday morning here on CP24 Breakfast. Dan, good to chat with you, Dan. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
It's like magic. Magic when you touch me. Gotta have it. Crazy how you love me, just imagine.
The New Kids on the Block are back with a brand new album, their first in 11 years, and a new tour, Magic Summer 2024, that takes a lot of inspiration from their 1990 tour, the same name. I had a chance to sing. Sorry, I'm getting giddy because I had a chance to speak with singer Jordan Knight, who is my favorite New Kids on the Block singer. So take a look.
You're on your bus?
I'm on my tour bus. Yeah.
That's the life of an artist.
Yes. This bus has been giving us problems. The AC went out today. My brother got locked in the back. There's a room in the back, and the electricity went off on the bus, and he got locked in there.
Oh no, I hope you make it to Toronto safely because you have 2 concerts here. And I know New Kids on the Block love Toronto and Toronto fans love New Kids on the Block. So tell me a little bit about the tour. It's the Magic Summer Tour 2024.
Yeah, well, we did. It's fun. We haven't done outside venues since 2009. And before that, it's probably been since our Magic Summer Tour in 1990. So it's fun to be outside again. Toronto's always a highlight for us. Yeah, we kicked off our reunion tour, as everybody knows, in Toronto, and we sold the place out 2-3 nights, and what a reception! What a great way to kick off the tour. Toronto's definitely our second home.
You and your brother have Canadian roots. I don't know if a lot of people know that. I know the blockheads know that, but so it must be nice to come back home.
Yeah, no. When we were both my parents are Canadian, and they would bring us to Canada all the time. In the summer, we'd stay at my grandparents' cottage on Lake Erie. We'd go into Toronto, the big city. They were in Dunnville. And so they were more outskirts, rural type situation. And, my uncles, my aunts, cousins, all from that area. So it's definitely feels like going back home for us. Yeah, and we'll be seeing my family when we go up there.
Well, for this tour, you have DJ Jazzy Jeff as well as Paula Abdul, and it's a reimagination of your 1990s Magic Tour. So tell me what fans can expect. I know it's going to be a fantastic outdoor summer party.
We kind of harken back to, when we were young, carefree, and, in school, our first boyfriend or girlfriend. I think we evoke all those feelings for people when they come see us. And then we sprinkle in new stuff all the time. We sprinkle in special surprises. Jazzy Jeff, he does a set with us on stage. It's just a lot of fun, and mostly it's love.
I'm a blockhead. I went to one of your shows back in 2008, and I had the best time of my life. And now I know your music has carried over to a whole new generation. How does that feel to see a couple of generations now come out and see you perform?
We see a lot of the younger generation, kids, that have gotten into us. Who knows how or why or whatever, but it's so flattering to see. We maybe did such a good job back in the day that, people are influenced by it. And even today.
Well, you definitely have the right stuff. I had to throw that pun in there. Last all these generations. So I'm looking forward to having you in Toronto. Thank you so much. And I know the fans are going to love seeing you here as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you then. Thanks for your time. We'll see everybody in Toronto.
Here we are, staring at cookies.
Well, we are gearing up for the CNE, as we had mentioned. We were sampling some of the food yesterday. But we have something really tasty, and that's right. Craig's Cookies is mixing it up. We're talking pepperoni pizza cookies and poutine cookies. And we're here for the very first public taste of these fusion cookies. Joining us now is founder Craig Pike.
Me?
Craig! So there is a Craig with Craig's Cookies.
Thanks so much for having me. Good to see you.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing this delicious food. Oh my goodness. Is it delicious? I got to make sure that.
I think it's delicious.
Okay.
It is a poutine cookie with cheese curds and our basic chocolate chip cookie dough. Well, not basic, it's my mom's recipe, but you know what I mean.
There's nothing basic
and then
about
you
it.
dip it in some gravy, and then there's a pepperoni pizza cookie that you dip in marinara sauce.
So chocolate chips still in it?
No chocolate chips in the poutine. I thought the cheese curds were classic enough.
Yeah, I agree.
But with the pepperoni pizza, there's white chocolate chips. So they're just provocative enough, I think, for the CNE, and super fun. And
How much went into developing these recipes? Because I assume this wasn't just a first try, let's chuck in this, and it worked. Like, how much effort went in?
Yeah, we're creating new cookies all year round. And the CNE, our first year was last year, so it's such a fun opportunity for me and my team to kind of get together, brainstorm new ideas. So we came up with this about 3 months ago, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
And just started putting stuff in cookies. There was other cookies that were in the mix that didn't make the cut.
Okay.
Still might be around next year. Yeah. But this is what we came up with.
Can you tell us the ones that didn't make the cut, or are you still sampling and figuring it out for next year?
I could tell you, but then it would have to be a secret between you and I don't think that's how TV works.
Yeah,
Even though I wore my Cookie Monster shirt.
I love them. I don't know if you can see them. Can you see them?
Yes.
I have them in pink. And I should wear them as well.
Today.
I almost
We'll give you the memo next time. I love your story, by the way.
Oh,
is it
that's
true
very
that
sweet.
you were thinking of becoming a priest at one point, and then you went into acting? Then how does it go from that to now?
Yeah. I
Baking.
studied jazz saxophone in university, and then I discerned becoming a Catholic priest. And then I was going to go back to music school, became an actor, moved to Halifax with $10, and here we are. I started delivering Craig's cookies. I think it was about 11 years ago on my bike, and we opened our first store in 2018, and now here I am with you lovely people.
And everybody in Toronto, I think, knows Craig's
Yes.
cookies. I mean, I can't go past it with my kids. We will, slam on the brakes. It's just, that must be such a good feeling for you to know that we associate your success with our city.
Well, it's really lovely because I'm from Newfoundland, and hospitality and community is so important to me. So when I hear stories like Toronto has taken ownership over my little cookie shop, it really means a lot. It's very, very sweet, pardon the pun, but it's really lovely because that's what we do it for, right? We make food for people to enjoy, which is why the CNE is such a fun thing for us. Because there's so much nostalgia and memories around going to fairs. I remember in Newfoundland going to this place called Thomas Amusements. So apart from the rides, you get to try all the little treats. You get your candy apples. So I'm really excited for people to start new memories at the CNE with Craig's Cookies. This is our second year, and it'll be a good time.
So should we try?
Should we try some?
I feel like
absolutely.
We should. Should we be dipping, or is that just more for like representation?
You should be dipping.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do we have enough napkins for
Yeah,
everybody? Because
yeah.
I don't want to get stuff here.
We'll keep it classy. We'll keep it classy.
One for you, one for you, one for you.
I would love to try the pepperoni because I want to try the pepperoni and the white chocolate. I feel like that's really...
Okay, so we got pepperoni. So you
Okay.
Go for it, Courtney.
I'm going to do poutine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you said a little, like a dip with the marinara, right?
Yeah, oh, grab that one there.
Oh, I just touched this
touch that
one.
Go for
It's
it.
okay.
And you have that one there.
Do we like break in half
Will they
and
be
then
served
Sure,
warm?
go for it.
Will they be served warm?
They'll be
at the
served
end?
warm, and then the marinara sauce and gravy will be also be served warm. There's nothing worse than coagulated gravy. Isn't that a great word, coagulated?
It's a
Can
great
anybody
word.
spell
Do you know what's
coagulated?
great?
Free doesn't cookies, right?
There's going to be no spelling today, Craig. Just taste
There
it.
you go, get in.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Because I bake every so often. How do you, I'm going to use Bill's favorite word, how do you keep it moist?
No!
How do you keep it, I mean...
What's the secret? Is it a lot of butter?
I think the cheese curds help.
The cheese curds.
And you said it's your mom's recipe
It's
too.
my mom's recipe,
She
but we-
gave it to you, which is
And we use real butter, we use natural ingredients.
That's the secret?
Yeah.
It makes such a difference.
It
Yeah.
makes a
This is-
difference.
It does. Butter
Magical.
definitely makes a difference.
Okay.
So how are they? I know they're different.
Magical.
They're weird.
with the marinara. Like,
the
you
best.
would never
weird.
think to dip a
I've never
cookie
dipped
in
a cookie in
sauce.
something like that before, right? Normally, like maybe some milk.
Yeah.
But not with the gravy here. But that's a really good hit. I like the complementary flavors, and I can taste that butter too.
Yeah, there's the saltiness of the cheese
Yeah.
curd with the gravy, but then the dough is sweet.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's like
it's
sweet and
interesting.
savory. And I didn't dip this in, so I'm going to go back.
Go for it.
You know,
Just
and
did
we'll
not
have
touch my
what we'll
mouth.
have at the CNE, little mini ones as well.
Oh,
So you
okay.
get 10 little mini ones in a little basket with a
that's
little side
good.
of gravy, and we'll also have our most popular flavors there as well, like Mars bars, brownie.
Oh my gosh, the Oreo ones are just amazing.
Aren't they
Oh
fun?
my
Yeah.
God. I love that you have mini ones because then I don't feel so bad if I have all of them. I had 10.
You have 5 minis.
10 mini ones, which is, and they're all sugar-free,
tiny
gluten-free,
tum-tum.
vegan anyway.
You know, I will say, the minute I close my eyes, I really feel like I'm eating poutine. Stop it. No, seriously.
The pepperoni is really cool too because there's the spiciness a little bit with the pepperoni, but then you've got the white chocolate. It's really an interesting combination.
One
but
that's
you've
inspired
done it
by
really
Maker's
well.
Pizza. I don't know if you've ever had Maker's Pizza, and this is
I've tried it.
I'm not
I've
plugging
driven
Maker's
past it,
Pizza.
but yeah.
But they're such great pizza, and they put sesame seeds on their crust. And then they also have like, it's kind of, they put like a honey drizzle on it, so you get the sweet savory.
Now, Craig, will these cookies only be exclusively available at the X, or will they be at your stores as well?
Exclusively at the X.
Wow. Okay, so you gotta go to
After
get
the
them.
X, they might arrive at our stores for about, about a week. So we'll have to,
You can really test what people are coming back for as well at the X and get a sense of, hey, what's really hitting.
Yeah. And we're also always open to people's ideas of new cookies. So, shoot us an email, info@craigscookies.com.
Yeah.
And, your cookie might end up on our board.
We need Rich Bacon to come in. Rich looks like he needs a cookie.
Rich, you do need a cookie, Rich.
He's going to walk up the stairs here in a minute.
Which one are you going for,
Which
Rich?
one?
Come on.
Poutine or pepperoni?
Poutine.
Poutine, go for it. Yeah, dip it in gravy.
Make sure you get
Here's
the
a
gravy,
napkin, Rich.
Craig Pike, thank you so much for joining
for
us.
having me.
I
Thank
gotta
you so much
say,
for
we get
coming
a
in.
lot of superstars coming into our newsroom. People were so excited when they
Oh,
found
yeah.
out that you were coming in.
I was excited to come and see you.
Always great to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
I was abducted by aliens 7 times since 1984.
Everyone has a story, and this is the town that UFOs built. I'm here to listen to first-hand accounts, consider the evidence.
Oh my God. I see it.
At that point, I'll render
The all-new series Alien Encounters Fact or Fiction dissects the truth behind the real-life extraterrestrial experiences. This chilling Discovery Channel show also has a Canadian tie. It's hosted by accomplished journalist Chrissy Newton, who joins us now in studio. Good morning. It's so nice to see you and meet you here.
Good morning. Nice to meet you as well.
I'd love to know your backstory, how you came to be so interested in extraterrestrial activity and whether it is a real thing.
Oh, wow. Do we have a long time?
We have enough time. I'd love to know the story.
When I was a little girl, my dad had a UAP encounter, and he showed me a photo that he took with a group of people in Northern Ontario, and it like lit up everything inside of me.
Really?
Yeah, and from there, I think his discovery of like what is going on and what is UFOs or what are UAPs kind of started with me as a really young girl, and it just stayed through, and forever I've been kind of searching with him. So
yeah. Where in Northern Ontario? I'm curious.
I know it's just a little bit past the 401. I think it was Pembroke area.
Okay.
That he was, and that
like
was
Ottawa
in the
kind of area?
Yeah, it was 1979.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So this is something that's obviously stayed with you, and here you are with this new series, and it's fact or fiction. And I'm wondering what you say to someone who says, "I don't believe in any of this." What would your response be?
There's so much evidence, and I know people say that there isn't. We don't have proof, but we have evidence. The American government has said officially that there is something out there that is anomalous, right? That's UAP. Doesn't mean it's extraterrestrial. We can't say that. But what we can say is that for sure there's something out there that the American government and our Canadian government doesn't know what's in our skies, and it's flying with impunity. And that can be scary, and it also can be really exciting at the same time.
It is. It's also really interesting because I feel like people have so many opinions on this, and you can't help be intrigued, right? There are so many questions. Let's talk about your series and the many different stories that you will be talking about as part of your show, including, I understand, someone with evidence that suggests Bigfoot exists. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, I don't want to do any spoiler alerts, but
no.
For sure, yeah, we have a footprint, and so we do examine the footprint, and if it's allegedly something that is called a cryptid, which is also known to be Bigfoot. So yeah, it's exciting. I don't want to give a spoiler though, because people should watch it.
And the community in New Mexico, Roswell, can you tell us about this area? I wasn't very familiar, but doing a little research, I mean, everybody seems to have a bit of a story associated with extraterrestrial activity there. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, oh gosh, Roswell, the community is so lovely, and everywhere you look, there's UFO paraphernalia or like UFO themed things. Like if you really want to get your UFO fill, you go to Roswell, New Mexico. They really embrace the story and the history of the 1947 crash. And so the question is is it real? And there's still first accounts that people are having that they get to talk about from people that actually experienced it. I believe there's still 1 or 2 people that are still alive that are talking about, seeing this potentially holding crash material. And it's really exciting. And you get to hear these kind of, not first accounts from them, but you hear it from the rest of the community. And it's a wild experience. Yeah.
It sounds like it. Lastly, I'll ask you, what do you want people to take away from your series and what you've learned over the years in this?
Yeah, I would say that be curious. Look up in the skies, question. I don't think we know everything. And science right now is leaning towards hopefully understanding what UAP is. So be open-minded and just keep looking up.
Yeah, you can't help but be curious. I'm certainly very curious to see what this series looks like. Congratulations, Chrissy, and thank you for taking the time to speak with us this morning.
Thank you.
Age for the
the underworld. The Empire controls every corner of the galaxy, but they're distracted by a rebellion that won't quit. It's an opportunity to make millions.
K-Vess, the underworld's favorite news.
Gamers and especially fans of Star Wars, circle your calendars for August 30th as the much anticipated Star Wars Outlaws finally drops on video game consoles and PCs. A fully immersive, open world environment letting gamers explore, interact, and battle all in one game. Joining us now for a sneak peek are some of the Canadians in on the action. Umberly Gonzalez, lead actor of the game as Kay, and narrative director of Star Wars Outlaws, Naveed Kavari. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
When we saw the video come up, we were just cheering. It's spectacular. First of all, Umberly, I know you're watching the video. What do you make of it? It looks so real and so fantastic.
I know, I mean, it's been such a long process, and to see it come to life literally in front of you it's a dream, and you always get goosebumps, you always get excited, and it's still like a pinch me moment of, oh, we're making Star Wars. We're in Star Wars.
You've entered the Star Wars universe. Yeah. Naveed, I know you've been involved in the project longer. Tell me a little bit about the process.
Yeah, I mean, this all started with us wanting to make a game around the scoundrel fantasy. And so, you know, when we met with Lucasfilm Games and they pitched the idea of making a game between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, I mean, it doesn't get better than that, right? So we sort of ran out of there as fast as we could and started working on the game, and we've been developing it ever since.
Right. Just to even be approached by Lucasfilm, I can't even imagine what that feeling is like. It's surreal. Umberly, tell me about the process of preparing, like the motion capture, the voice work. How does it work for an actor?
It's incredible. I mean, I've always wanted to work in video games ever since I entered my professional career almost a decade ago.
How is that possible? Because you look like you're 15, honestly.
Sunscreen and joy. And I've had the honor of working with Ubisoft for several years, so it feels like I'm like a veteran in the field, but this is my first leading role. So to be a protagonist, especially with Star Wars, I feel like I've laid the groundwork and I was ready to lead a game. And motion capture is very different from movies. I mean, you don't have the advantage of relying on sets and costumes and hair and makeup. You truly have to imagine it in your mind's eye. It's very creative, it's very childlike. And that is what I love about it, because it really challenges you to imagine. And to me, that's such a big part of the art form.
It's an incredible art form. I've actually done a little bit of voice work with Ubisoft a long time ago, so I have been at the Toronto studio. It's pretty spectacular, but it wasn't just at the Toronto studio here. You actually moved around to a few locations.
Yeah, so the game is led by Ubisoft Massive in Sweden, but we also shot motion capture in Montreal, and we did a big bulk of motion capture in Toronto as well. So we definitely have that Canadian footprint on the game. So we had our story team working from Toronto, so a lot of the writing was done here, some marketing, animation for cinematics, and absolutely the motion capture as well.
It's incredible. What does it feel like to enter the gaming world? It's very different from film and TV.
Honestly, yes, it's such a different fandom. There's, the Twitch world and people making videos on just watching people play games, and even the voiceover world. I always was maybe a little self-conscious of my voice. I was like, I've always had this like low, raspy voice, and in the video games, they're like, no, we want that. Bring it to us. So I really feel like I found my niche in video games. This is, I think, my 4th video game with Ubisoft. So I honestly love it. I could do video games forever.
That's good news.
That's great news. Yeah, you've got a good one here. Fans of video games, they're huge, and then fans of Star Wars are huge. Like, you've got 2 worlds coming together. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
At first you're overwhelmed. I think when I started on the project, I freaked out for about a week, but you kind of have to put it on the shelf, and really the team has done a fantastic job to not only kind of honor the past, honor that era, but bring something new with the character of K-Vess, with this idea of a scoundrel game, set in a massive massive, massive open world where players get to go to cantinas, they get to hop on a speeder, blast off across, the plains, and then jump in a ship and get in dogfights. So it's a really, really exciting for it to come out.
It's so fantastic. You know what would be kind of cool is if the video game then comes to life on the big screen. Ooh. I'm going to put it out there in the universe for you.
There you go.
There you go,
Putting it out there, right?
Right? You're already in the Lucasfilm universe now. Why not?
Yeah.
How does it feel to be a part of this massive franchise? You're doing something related to Star Wars. How does that feel? That's huge.
This franchise truly reaches every corner of our earthly world too. So, I grew up in Venezuela and we grew up with it in Spanish, Guerra de las Galaxias. To me, it's so transcendent that even my family and my friends who I grew up with will be able to understand what I'm doing. Yes. So to connect with fans from all over the world, I know how meaningful this is to them. And for me, being a Latina immigrant in Canada, having that representation in such a massive way, it's an honor, honestly, a dream come true. And I hope that people can see it and feel inspired and feel seen. Really quickly before we go, I have to ask about Ginny and Georgia because I'm also a huge fan of the show.
When's that coming out?
I know you're shooting season 3. Can you tell me anything? Because I'm dying for it to be released.
I know. We are having so much fun this season. I can't tell you much. They will come for me. But I am in season 3 and it's been an incredible, we have new characters, lots of drama, lots of fun. So stay tuned.
Because it ended on a cliffhanger. I cannot wait.
Oh, and the cliffhangers will keep coming.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your little thing. The cliffhangers will keep coming. In the meantime, August 30th, mark it down in your calendar. Again, Star Wars Outlaws, it drops. You're not going to be disappointed. Kavit and Umberly, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
We'll send it to you, Nick and Courtney.
All
Thanks,
right.
G.
Gee, thank you so much.